Dryers must be connected to a properly grounded electrical system according to the National Electrical Code. NEC Article 422 does not specifically address the placement of dryers in bathrooms, but it does allow the installation of other appliances, such as refrigerators, in bathrooms under certain conditions. However, NEC Article 551 requires that bathrooms have ground fault circuit interrupter (GFCI) protection. This would be difficult to provide for a dryer, as it is a non-portable appliance and typically not plugged into an outlet. Additionally, the proximity of the dryer to the shower may raise concerns about electrical safety. Water and electricity can be a dangerous combination, and the NEC does not allow for the installation of electrical equipment within a certain distance of water sources. Based on the NEC requirements and potential safety concerns, it is highly recommended to install a door to separate the washer and dryer from the bathroom. This would provide a physical barrier to prevent water from splashing onto the appliances and ensure that the electrical equipment is not installed in an unsafe location. While it may be possible to wire the washer and dryer in the bathroom without violating the NEC, it is not advisable due to safety concerns and the difficulty of providing GFCI protection. Installing a door is the best way to ensure compliance with the code and protect the occupants of the home. When you are wiring washers and dryers, there are several code-related points to consider. Firstly, ensure proper grounding. The National Electrical Code mandates that dryers are connected to a properly grounded electrical system. This grounding is crucial for safety, as it provides a path for stray electrical currents to return to the source, reducing the risk of electric shock. Check Article 250 in the NEC for detailed grounding requirements. Secondly, consider GFCI protection. Bathrooms are considered wet locations, and NEC Article 551 requires GFCI protection for all receptacles in bathrooms. While dryers are typically hardwired and not plugged into receptacles, the presence of a washer in the same space necessitates GFCI protection for its receptacle. This protects against ground faults, which can occur when electricity leaks from a circuit to ground. Thirdly, separation in proximity. The NEC does not explicitly prohibit placing a dryer in a bathroom, but it does emphasize the importance of maintaining safe distances between electrical equipment and water sources. Installing a door to separate the washer and dryer from the shower or tub area is a practical way to ensure compliance and enhance safety. This physical barrier prevents water from splashing onto the appliances, reducing the risk of electrical hazards. Fourthly, appliance compatibility and listings. Ensure that all appliances installed are listed and labeled for their intended use. Look for the Underwriters Laboratories or other nationally recognized testing laboratory (NRTL) markings on the appliances. This certification indicates that the appliances have been tested and meet safety standards. Also, verify that the electrical system is adequate to handle the load of both the washer and dryer. Consult NEC Article 220 for load calculation requirements. Fifthly, follow local codes and regulations. While adhering to the NEC is essential, it is equally important to comply with local electrical codes and regulations. Local jurisdictions may have additional requirements or interpretations that differ from the NEC. Always consult with the local electrical inspector or building department to ensure compliance. Sixthly, assess the environmental factors. Bathrooms are often humid environments which can accelerate corrosion and deterioration of electrical components. Use corrosion-resistant materials and ensure proper ventilation to mitigate these effects. Consider using moisture-resistant wiring and enclosures to protect against moisture damage. Seventhly, prioritize professional installation. Electrical work should be performed by a qualified and licensed electrician. Improper wiring can lead to safety hazards, such as electric shock and fire. A professional electrician has the knowledge, skills, and experience to ensure that the installation is done safely and correctly. Eighthly, regularly inspect and maintain. Periodically inspect the wiring, connections, and grounding system for any signs of damage or deterioration. Replace any worn or damaged components promptly. Schedule regular maintenance checks to ensure the continued safe operation of the appliances. Ninthly, educate occupants. Educate the occupants of the home about electrical safety and the proper use of the appliances. Emphasize the importance of keeping water away from electrical equipment and avoiding overloading circuits. Provide instructions on what to do in the event of an electrical emergency. And 10thly, document everything. Keep a record of all electrical work performed, including permits, inspections, and test results. This documentation can be useful for future reference and can help demonstrate compliance with codes and regulations. Remember that safety should always be the top priority when working with electricity. Taking these steps can help ensure that the installation is safe, code compliant, and reliable. To further understand the complexities of wiring washers and dryers, consider these additional details. First, let's explore the specific NEC articles related to appliance installation. Article 422 of the NEC covers appliances in general. This article provides requirements for disconnecting means, overcurrent protection, and grounding. For dryers specifically, it mandates that they be connected to a circuit with sufficient ampacity to handle the load. This means ensuring the wire gauge and breaker size are adequate for the dryer's power consumption. The NEC provides tables for determining the appropriate wire size based on the ampacity of the circuit. Next, let's consider the grounding requirements in more detail. Grounding is essential for safety, as it provides a low impedance path for fault currents to return to the source. This helps to quickly trip the circuit breaker or fuse, preventing electric shock. NEC Article 250 outlines the requirements for grounding and bonding. For dryers, the grounding conductor must be connected to the dryer frame and to the equipment grounding bus in the electrical panel. This ensures that any stray currents are safely conducted back to the source. Now let's delve into GFCI protection. Ground fault circuit interrupters are designed to detect small imbalances in current, which can indicate a ground fault. When a ground fault is detected, the GFCI quickly trips the circuit, preventing electric shock. NEC Article 210.8 requires GFCI protection for all 120 volts, 15 amps and 20 amps receptacles in bathrooms. While dryers are typically 240 volts appliances and not plugged into receptacles, the presence of a washer in the same space necessitates GFCI protection for its receptacle. This protects against ground faults that could occur when using the washer. Also, let's think about the working space around electrical equipment. The NEC requires adequate working space around electrical equipment for safety and accessibility. This working space must be clear and unobstructed, allowing for easy access for maintenance and repairs. NEC Article 110.26 specifies the dimensions of the required working space, which varies depending on the voltage and configuration of the equipment. When installing a washer and dryer in a bathroom, ensure that there is sufficient working space around the electrical panel and any other electrical equipment. Also, consider ventilation. Dryers generate heat and moisture, which can contribute to humidity and mold growth in the bathroom. Proper ventilation is essential to remove this heat and moisture and maintain a healthy environment. Consider installing an exhaust fan to vent the bathroom to the outside. The exhaust fan should be sized appropriately for the size of the bathroom and the amount of moisture generated by the dryer. Furthermore, think about the type of wiring used. The NEC specifies the types of wiring that are permitted for different applications. In wet locations, such as bathrooms, moisture-resistant wiring must be used. Type THHN or THWN wire is commonly used for these applications. These wires have a nylon jacket that protects against moisture and corrosion. Also, ensure that all wiring is properly supported and protected from physical damage. And remember surge protection. Surge protectors are designed to protect electrical equipment from voltage spikes, which can damage sensitive electronics. Consider installing a surge protector to protect the washer and dryer from power surges. Surge protectors are available in various forms, including whole house surge protectors and plug-in surge protectors. In addition, consider energy efficiency. When selecting a washer and dryer, choose energy-efficient models to save money on utility bills and reduce your environmental impact. Look for the Energy Star label, which indicates that the appliance meets certain energy efficiency standards. Energy-efficient appliances use less water and electricity, reducing your carbon footprint. When planning a remodeling project that involves electrical work, it is essential to consult with a qualified and licensed electrician. An electrician can assess the existing electrical system, determine the appropriate wiring and components, and ensure that the installation is done safely and correctly. A permit may be required for electrical work, so check with the local building department before starting the project. Consider these points as well. First, voltage considerations. In North America, residential dryers typically operate on 240 volts, while washers operate on 120 volts. Ensure that the electrical system is properly wired to accommodate these different voltage requirements. A dedicated 240 volt circuit is required for the dryer, while the washer can typically be plugged into a standard 120 volts receptacle. Second, branch circuit sizing. The branch circuit that supplies power to the dryer must be sized appropriately to handle the load. The NEC specifies the minimum ampacity for dryer circuits, which is typically 30 amps. This means that the wire gauge and breaker size must be sufficient to handle the dryer's power consumption. Consult NEC Article 220 for load calculation requirements. Third, overcurrent protection. Overcurrent protection devices, such as circuit breakers and fuses, are designed to protect electrical circuits from overload and short circuits. These devices are designed to trip or blow when the current exceeds a certain level, preventing damage to the wiring and equipment. The overcurrent protection device for the dryer circuit must be sized appropriately to protect the wiring and the dryer itself. Fourth, appliance location. When installing a washer and dryer in a bathroom, consider the location of the appliances in relation to water sources. The NEC prohibits the installation of electrical equipment within a certain distance of water sources, such as showers and tubs. Ensure that the appliances are located in a safe and accessible location away from water splashes and spills. Fifth, accessibility for maintenance. When installing a washer and dryer, ensure that they are easily accessible for maintenance and repairs. Provide sufficient space around the appliances to allow for easy access to the back and sides. This will make it easier to perform routine maintenance tasks such as cleaning the lint trap and checking the hoses. Sixth, proper ventilation. Dryers generate heat and moisture, which can contribute to humidity and mold growth in the bathroom. Proper ventilation is essential to remove this heat and moisture and maintain a healthy environment. Consider installing an exhaust fan to vent the bathroom to the outside. The exhaust fan should be sized appropriately for the size of the bathroom and the amount of moisture generated by the dryer. Seventh, minimizing noise and vibration. Washers and dryers can generate noise and vibration, which can be disruptive to other occupants of the home. Consider using vibration damping pads or mats to reduce noise and vibration. Also, ensure that the appliances are properly leveled to prevent excessive vibration. Eighth, compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA. If the bathroom is intended to be accessible to people with disabilities, ensure that the installation complies with the ADA guidelines. This may include providing accessible clearances around the appliances and ensuring that the controls are within reach. Ninth, future expansion. When planning the electrical system for the bathroom, consider the potential for future expansion. Provide sufficient capacity in the electrical panel to accommodate additional circuits and appliances. This will make it easier to add new features to the bathroom in the future. 10th, final inspection. Before using the washer and dryer, have the electrical installation inspected by a qualified electrical inspector. The inspector will verify that the installation complies with the NEC and local codes and regulations. This will help ensure that the installation is safe and code compliant. When it comes to electrical work, it's crucial to prioritize safety and follow the NEC guidelines meticulously. Here are more points to consider for your project. 1. Local amendments to the NEC. While the NEC provides a comprehensive set of standards, local jurisdictions often adopt amendments to the NEC to address specific local conditions or concerns. These amendments may include additional requirements or modifications to existing requirements. Always check with the local building department to determine if there are any local amendments to the NEC that apply to your project. 2. Permits and inspections. Most electrical work requires a permit from the local building department. The permit process typically involves submitting plans and specifications for the work and paying a fee. Once the work is completed, it must be inspected by a qualified electrical inspector. The inspector will verify that the installation complies with the NEC and local codes and regulations. 3. Qualified personnel. Electrical work should be performed by qualified and licensed electricians. Electricians have the knowledge, skills, and experience to ensure that the installation is done safely and correctly. They are also familiar with the NEC and local codes and regulations. 4. Proper tools and equipment. Electrical work requires the use of specialized tools and equipment. These tools and equipment must be in good working condition and properly maintained. Always use the correct tool for the job and follow the manufacturer's instructions. 5. Lockout/tagout procedures. When working on electrical circuits, it is essential to follow lockout/tagout (LOTA) procedures to prevent accidental energization of the circuit. LOTA procedures involve disconnecting the power to the circuit and placing a lock and tag on the disconnect switch to prevent it from being turned back on. 6. Personal protective equipment (PPE). When working on electrical circuits, it is essential to wear appropriate PPE to protect yourself from electrical hazards. This may include safety glasses, rubber gloves, and insulated tools. Always inspect your PPE before each use to ensure that it is in good condition. 7. Safe work practices. Follow safe work practices when working on electrical circuits. Avoid working in wet or damp conditions. Keep your work area clean and organized. Never work alone. 8. Emergency procedures. Be familiar with emergency procedures in case of an electrical accident. Know how to shut off the power to the circuit and how to call for help. Keep a first aid kit readily available. 9. Documentation. Keep accurate records of all electrical work performed, including permits, inspections, and test results. This documentation can be useful for future reference and can help demonstrate compliance with codes and regulations. 10. Continuous learning. The electrical industry is constantly evolving, with new technologies and regulations being introduced regularly. Stay up to date on the latest developments by attending training courses, reading industry publications, and networking with other professionals. These expanded points should give you a solid grasp of the key considerations for safely and compliantly wiring washers and dryers, especially in challenging locations like bathrooms.